going on, guys? Welcome back. This week we're back on the Catalina again. Obviously, I got it outside warming up. I'm gonna take it and grab me some breakfast here in a minute. But anyways, this week I got the last few things to button up before we head off the power tour this coming up weekend. Just a couple little things. But today, me and a couple of buddies of mine, Kyle, he's taking his bug, and my other buddy that's going with me on power tour, he's got a 52 Willys. We're wanting to do a little drive before our drive, so we're all going to load up. We're each taking our own car, and we're going to head up to Lake Erie. It's probably an hour and 20-minute drive ish. We're going to go up, do some fishing, and come back home just to get a little drive under them. But there's a few things that I need to finish up on this thing. They're nothing too serious. I did get the exhaust finished up and out the side of it off camera. I hate videoing under the car, and I hate exhaust even more than videoing under a car. So the exhaust is taken care of. I'll show you that when I get back. But yeah, we're just gonna knock these few things out, and then we're gonna head up on the lake here, see if we can't catch anything. But I'll be right back with whatever we tackle first. Okay, back from getting food, and I told you I'd show you the exhaust. I just made it a side exit right here on both sides. If I didn't do it that way, I'd have to run it all the way back and up and over the axle and out the side and yada yada yada. And I wasn't about that. So she got a side exit. It sounds really good. It's actually a lot quieter than just the muffler, which whatever. I like it. Sounds good. It's quiet inside the car. You can hear yourself think again. So but anyways, we need to deal with some rattles, and we need to get some lights in here. Let's see. The factory gauges are not bolted in here. They're just sitting here, and they weigh like 70 pounds. Anyways, we need to get those bolted in because those rattle. And then these here are the 3 gauges that I put in. I need to get the lights hooked up in these because I cannot see them at nighttime, and that bothers me. So we need to get that hooked up with some lights. We need to get some bolts in the back of these gauges, and then we're going to go through and check all the fluids and everything. But let me get these gauges pulled out of here, and we'll see what we need to bolt them in. Okay, so I got these out, and the bolt bin has provided. I was able to find this one. It has the washer built in, and then this side, we'll just put a washer on there normally, but it just holds in with these two. Well, it goes through there and there. Nothing's hooked up on this. One day I'd like to be able to get the speedometer hooked up, but until then, at least it'll be bolted in there, and we got to fix the needle on this too if we ever decide to use it. So let's see if I can't get this back in here. All right, I've got those bolted back in there. They're not going anywhere now. Hopefully that rattling quits. But I'm gonna jump down here, try to get a power wire ran over to these gauges. I'm just gonna ground them through the bolt that holds them to the dash, and then I'll just run a wire off of the fuse box. I've got 4 or 5 extra ones still out of that new fuse box. Just make it come on with the key. They're 3 little bulbs, so it'd be just fine. It's not like it's gonna cause too much extra battery draw for cranking. So it's kind of a pain to show you up underneath the dash, so I'll show you when it's done. All right, it's the next day. Some things happened. We made the trip. I did get the gauge lights working. Car's outside. It made it there, made it all the way back. We did have one casualty. I did take a little bit of videos. Michael's car, I'll throw the video in here. His car, the spindle snapped off. That was quite the experience for him and his wife and their kid, but everyone's safe. No one got hurt, and he got lucky that it didn't end up in the ditch. But the car did make it up there, made it all the way back. But we've got issues. It is smoking profusely under acceleration, and I don't want that. So, and also, it decided it wanted to start pouring oil out of the rear main seal. So, in order to fix that motor the right way, for me to be happy to go on power tour, it needs to come out. Pistons need to come out. And obviously it needs honed. It's going to need a rear main seal. All the above. Or I picked up today a small block 400. I know it is a week. Well, it's not even a week now. It's Monday. We got less than a week. I got to figure something out. I'm not driving the car. We spit it out. We drove an hour and 20 minutes from here to the lake, and it leaked 2 quarts of oil. Not good. And 2 quarts on the way back. So obviously that is a huge issue. There's a couple things that we could do to fix it. We could just throw a rear main in it and let it smoke, but I'm not trying to be that guy. It smells terrible and it's decently bad. I'm not going to do it. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to try to get this thing running. I got it from a friend of mine. Obviously you can see though, it does need a rear main seal, but if it doesn't need rings, that's a step ahead. But like I said, regardless, that motor has to come out to get fixed. So if we have it out and this one doesn't smoke and just needs a rear main, regardless, we got to do rear mains, which isn't that bad. So we get this thing sitting on the floor. We're going to try to get it running. I was told that it runs. We're going to find out the hard way. But yeah, I don't know what else to do. So this is the plan. We're going to get this thing going. So we're going to get this thing set on the floor where it ain't going to fall over. We'll hook a fuel line to it, battery, yada, yada, yada. You've seen me do this before. We're going to get this thing running, let it run long enough on the floor to see if it's going to smoke. I need to know. So let's get this thing strapped down to the floor or whatever we can do to get it to sit here and get it fired up. Okay, this is how I start all these motors. Just a quick little setup. This is the cable I had laying around, but it's the positive. It just goes straight to the starter. Jumper cables, one on the fuel pump because that's safe, and one on the starter. And then you just take your ignition wire here and easy as that. I need to get a fuel system hooked up real quick. Maybe this fuel pump will work. Not sure. We're gonna try. I gotta go get some fuel in this thing, and then it should fire off. Oh, we gotta run a power wire from the distributor real quick down to the battery to power that, and then should be good to go. So I'm gonna run and grab some fuel. We'll run some fuel line up to this carburetor real quick and see if it'll run. We're just gonna see what this thing will do. Go ahead. She's a gooder. Hold on. Let me try to get some of these bowls. Why is it so much louder than the 350?
I don't know. I think it's ready to run.
Yes, she is. I wish that fuel pump would have worked. Looks like the accelerator pump ain't gonna work either. Alright, go ahead. This is dangerous. Go ahead. Just waiting for this thing to backfire and hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I just gotta find a fine line here. Go ahead. Hold on. 1 second. Turn the idle up a little. I think she's gonna work. It hasn't smoked one bit. Oh, this carburetor is garbage. No accelerator pump. Idle adjustment locked all the way up. Alright, that's not working. It's hard to hold the motor and the throttle a little bit at this. See if you can't help me balance her a little.
Alright.
Go.
Do my best.
Don't put your knee on it, it'll bite you. Go.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Good. Did the wire fall out? Power wire?
No, still in there.
Good. 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 Yep. Why is it not want to keep
My
going?
hand.
Good. Good. I don't understand why it just starts and shuts off. We got good battery power, so it's not like that's turning off. Oh, probably this big old vacuum leak and this vacuum leak. Let's plug some stuff off and try again. Give me a 3/8 bolt for that one. Oh, never mind. That's gonna take more than that.
We had some of them.
We'll be right back after these messages. All right, we got some plugs in our vacuum leaks. Try again. You put the plug distributor in.
Yep, good.
Good. Good. Oh, that's a lot better. Good. It ain't smoking at all. Go again. Good. I think it's gonna work. All right, so it's been just a little bit since I've been on here, but I did have this thing running 3 or 4, maybe 5 times, I'm not sure, but I had it running for a good while, and I never once seen an ounce of smoke out of the exhaust. So other than the rear main seal, I'm gonna call this one good to go. But the rear main won't be in until tomorrow. I just got to finish scraping some gaskets off of here, and then I took it all apart. Well, me and Kyle did. Took it to the car wash, got it all cleaned up. Just got it good to go. But tomorrow we'll have to flip this thing upside down, get the pan off of it, and we'll push a new rear main seal in it. And then after all that, we will hit it with the old rattle can rebuild stamp of approval with some Chevy orange, and then we'll get that car in here and start pulling that thing apart and getting this one in there. I need to put new seals in the transmission too. The front pump seal's a little bit leaky, and we'll go ahead and throw it in the tail shaft as well. But things are looking good for this motor. I've heard it run a lot longer than the one that we put in the Catalina, and I kind of know the backstory on this one. Not that I didn't know the backstory on the other one. It didn't have one. But regardless, we're in good shape. We're just going to wait for parts for tomorrow, and we'll get right back on this thing. As you can see, it's already dark, and I got to get to bed so I can get to work in the morning. But parts will be here tomorrow. We'll continue this tomorrow. I'll see you then. All right, we're back the next day, and we have parts. The plan is to turn this thing upside down, make a huge mess on the floor, and get the oil pan off and start getting this new rear main seal in it. And then we'll give her the old rattle can rebuild after that. But first things first, see how big of a mess we can make on the floor. I took these off last night. It actually looks really good inside of here. Not a lot of junk in here, not a lot of buildup. Good news, good news. Man, I really need to empty my drain pan. Ain't nobody got time for that right now. I don't know what I did with the handle for this. Yes, I do. Okay, let's see how fast this thing wants to flip over on me and embarrass me in front of all my friends. This is always sketchy for some reason. But we gotta do it. I can't even get the pin out. Come on. Alright, I'm not sure if somebody welded this pen in here when I wasn't looking or what, but man. You watch, this is gonna pop out and the whole thing just gonna hit the ground. But this is ridiculous. Get out. Come on. Come on, you. Like, what's even... Then it just falls out. You gotta be kidding me. Anyways, let's flip this thing upside down and make a mess. Every time I do this, it usually just whoosh, flips over, makes a huge mess. Of course, we're by ourselves. Let's yeah. Yeah. There should be a noise in the oil pan. Oh. Can we catch most of the oil? Doing good so far. Or do we just work on it like that? I vote we just work on it like that. We can get to the oil pan. Can you guys see that? Yeah. We'll take the oil pan off of here and just work on it just like that. Let me get you guys set up at a different angle. Alright, so obviously, first things first. Well, obvious to me, I guess. Take all these pan bolts out. I've opted for no drain pan. We'll see how that goes. But only because I drained it yesterday. Oh, probably should loosen those and not tighten them. Alright, as long as we didn't miss anything, this should come off of there just like that. Get this gasket out of the way. No way. There's no way. Check this out. That is the pickup for the oil pump. Just sitting in the bottom of the pan. No way. Wow. Well, I'm glad that it needed a rear main, or we wouldn't have had oil pressure. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Alright, obviously I'm gonna change this oil pump now. That's the wow, that is impressive. Alright, so what we gotta do, we'll unbolt this oil pump, which honestly it looks brand new, but we're not gonna chance it. There's one bolt in the oil pump and then 2 bolts in the main cap. We get the main cap off of there, and then we can get to the rear main seal. So let me get the tools that I need for that, and we'll be in business. I can't, that is wow. Wow, wow. I'm so happy that this thing needed a rear main seal. Wow. Alright, let's keep moving forward. Alright, so get this off. 1 bolt here. Pull that out. And then this here comes right off. And also this doesn't have the... There's a plastic clip that goes on here that's supposed to hold it to the rod for the distributor. So it is a good thing we're in here. And honestly, this really does look brand new compared to everything else. But I'm not going to chance it. Ain't no reason to. It does feel fine. It doesn't. I can feel it sucking on my finger. You put your finger in the inlet. But either way, not going to use it. Alright, then on the rest of this main cap, one here. Get that out of the way. And then one down here. Get that one out of the way. And then you should be able to either pull this or tap it with a hammer. Let me get a rubber mallet. Alright, you should be able to just like that. And there is the rear main seal, which is not even in there straight. Not saying that's our problem, but regardless, this here is the seal that we need to swap out. The one that's kind of a pain is the one that is up in here. You have to roll it. So imagine this is the top part and the crank's sitting here. You need to be able to push this around the crank like this and then slip the new one in the same way. So I'm gonna try that. Bearing doesn't look terrible. I've seen way worse. But I'm gonna fight with the one in here, try and get it rolled out, and then get the new one rolled in there. Alright, I figured I'd show you a little closer. I just took a flathead screwdriver, and up in here is where the bearing goes. Just took it and pressed it up in here, and down on the bottom here, it just pushed it out, and then you can just slide this thing out just like this. And then you want to pay attention to which way your bearing goes. There's this here, the thinner side is the seal. So when you put your new one in, make sure that you get her in the same way. So to get the new one in, just take it, set it on here, and then just start feeding it around. Easy as that. Push her on around to where she's flat. You can see it at the bottom there, at the top, and then just put this new one on the cap, put it all back together. Alright, I got that cap back on there. It's torqued down, it's good to go. I gotta go pick up a pan gasket because for some reason I didn't think about getting one of those. I'm gonna pick up an oil change, new filter. I just gotta scrape all this old gasket off of here, get the pan back on it, the pump on it first, gotta remember that. But yeah, we're in good shape here. I like what I see in here. Nothing really concerns me, so I'm gonna go pick up the pump, gasket, oil change, and get this thing thrown back together real quick, and then we'll get on that rattle can rebuild. Alright, that's all back together, new gasket and all that. I'm going to take a wire wheel on a drill and go over this entire motor just to clean it up and get off the flake and paint. I know you're not supposed to paint over a chrome timing cover, but someone already did, and it's just for the time being. We just need it to look decent in the car for power tour. So, I'm going to take this pulley off of here. I'm not going to paint that, just throw it on the shelf, because I'm going to take everything off of the other motor. It's all brand new, it's all good stuff. And I know that the pulley that's in there, I'm pretty sure is only a dual rib, so just in case it doesn't line up, we're going to go ahead and snag that off of there, and we'll put all that stuff on this motor. But I'm going to get a wire wheel out and go over this entire thing, knock that pulley off of there, and then we'll get to painting this thing. All right, so we've got her cleaned up as good as it's going to get cleaned. I've thrown this intake and these valve covers on here just because if you ever want to clean this up and need sandblast and there's already paint on them, and I really don't care about them. They're rusty, they're garbage. It doesn't matter to me. I've taped off the exhaust pores, the water pump, all the gasket surfaces. That way we don't get paint on it. And we're just going to fog this thing down with the old orange, Chevy orange. Because that's what I want. That's what's in the car already. That's what it's going to be. So I'm just going to do this, put a couple coats on it, and we'll call her good. And then we'll get that car in here. And just get it, start tearing that thing apart. Put this thing in the corner, let it dry. Oh, look at this nice black oil pan. Ah, no. Yep. That's how much we care. So I'm just going to finish this up. We'll get this in the corner, and then we'll get the car in here and start tearing that thing apart. So give me a minute. All right, we put 2 coats on this thing, and it is more than good enough for what it's going to be used for. Like I said, this is just to get us through Power Tour. The small block that's in the Catalina now, I want to rebuild it and put it back in the Catalina, and then we'll use this motor for something else. This motor needs completely gone through as well, which is no big deal, but as long as this one doesn't smoke, it's going to make me more than happy. And the leaking should be taken care of now. But just going to get this stuff off of here. Like I said, these make good masking tape to keep paint off everything. And as you can see, you might be able to see, this has been rattle can rebuilt once before, so it's not like we did any more damage than what was already here. Let me just take all this tape off of here. Like I said, this makes it a little nicer. You don't have to spend the time to clean these back up later. Takes an extra 5 minutes to tape everything off. You might as well do it. But hopefully this motor is going to do us well on Power Tour. I mean, it's only like 1,200 miles or so of driving. What's the worst that could happen, right? I don't know. Oh, and Michael, he got his car back on all 4 wheels. He was able to find a spindle, which actually is funny, but not funny. The morning that we left, his friend was at a swap meet and actually had found a spindle for that car and bought it that morning, and then it snapped later that afternoon. Like, what are the chances of that? So, but he sent me a picture earlier today. He does have his car back on all 4 wheels, and he should be good to go. I think he had a small fuel leak he was working on too as well, but either way, his car is good to go. Kyle's bug, I think he was working on carburetors a little bit, but his should be good to go as well. So, as long as we can get the Catalina back on the road, we'll be good to go. But I'm going regardless, whether it's in the Catalina or my Duramax or my little Chevy Sonic. I don't care, I'm going. But I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that the Catalina goes on this trip. Because it's the car that I've spent the time on to take. And it's what I want to take. So, we're going to do everything we can to get this thing there. But I guess we can pull these plugs out of here too, or maybe we'll wait till tomorrow for that. But as you guys can see, it's already dark and this day is now gone. But this thing is ready to go. I just need to do some shop cleanup, put down some oil dry and all that. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I want to cut this in half, that way when I'm going on Power Tour I have a video. So pay attention for next week. See if we get this thing back on the road, get it going, and make it to Power Tour, which we should. I got pretty good confidence in this motor. I did say the same thing about the other one, so, but here we are. What are we going to do? I do appreciate you guys watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.